All right, welcome to the FileCenter Receipts webinar. We're going to just start getting, as everyone's starting to pile up, we're just going to go ahead and kind of start the webinar out and wanted to just welcome everyone. I am really excited about today's webinar. I know that many of you are signing in from all over the world. And in fact, one of the things that helps me really have a fun time with this is that I want to know where you guys are all located. So in the chat window up in the top right hand corner of your screen, if you'll just go ahead and just start typing like what city or state or country that you're living in, and let us know where you're signing in from, so that way we can kind of get an idea of where everybody's at. Looks like we got some people from Boston, got Wisconsin and Texas. Oh, we got Melbourne, Australia. That's awesome. Got Kansas, Texas again, Mississippi, California, as long as they leave the power on. Thomas, what part of California are you in? And then we got Lehigh, Utah. Awesome. San Diego. Awesome. That's great. Thomas, that's awesome. Missouri. Okay. And I know that we're probably going to have a lot from New Zealand and Australia. That's one of the reasons why we're doing the webinar so late tonight, is that we wanted to accommodate everybody that's signing in from a place where normally when I'm hosting the webinar, it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and so it makes it kind of hard for people to get up and watch a webinar during that time frame. Oh, we got one from India. That's even that's awesome. Welcome, welcome. All right. Well, I am going to get started here. Today's webinar is going to be just slightly different than what most of the webinars have been like for us this week and previously. Mainly, the reason being is that, like Thomas, I currently am in California. In fact, let me just kind of show you here real quick. Outside my hotel room, I am in what should be sunny San Diego, but it's kind of cloudy, and I'm just sitting in my hotel room. I totally spaced the fact that I was going to be down in California. Uh, how's it going? Um, at a conference, and had totally spaced it. And so here I am. I'm down in a hotel room, and we're going to be doing this webinar, whether we like it or not. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with that. I don't have everything that I normally would have. I don't have a scanner set up here, and so that is one thing that I do not have to be able to show you. But we'll talk about how the scanner works, and it's real simple, anyways. And so, with that, let's just get started. Again, I want to welcome everyone that's taken the time to come join us on this webinar today. Just so that you know, we are recording it. There is going to be a replay that we'll send out. In fact, I'll probably send you two different videos. One that will be one that will show you all the full feature of the FileCenter Receipts that I had done yesterday, and then I will also send you today's as well, so that you just have both copies, especially because I feel like I'm jading you a little bit by not having a scanner here set up with me at my hotel room. Now, with this, one of the things that I am really excited about is that this FileCenter Receipts program, we've been kind of working on this for the last, I'd say 5 or 6 months, and probably a little bit longer, actually. And one of the reasons why we did it is because we were listening to our customers, and a lot of you were asking about it. Some people were coming from Neat Receipts or other receipt management software solutions, and you were looking for something to replace the solution that you were currently using. And so what we did is we went out and we went to work and we started designing this. And I'm going to tell you right up front, we're still in its infancy stage. We're still working on it, making it better, and we're going to continue to make it better. And we've been listening to everyone that's been using the software already, making suggestions to us, and we're already implementing a lot of the things that everybody has been asking us for inside of the software. And so this is just going to be something that is going to continue to grow and become better and stronger. And we hope that you'll contribute if you're using it with your feedback, so that we can make the software better, just like what we make FileCenter we make that a better solution year over year because of what we hear from you as our customers. So I think that that's a really important thing to kind of just bring out. So with that, let's go ahead. You should be able to see my computer screen right now. Just want to make sure that that is the case and that you can still hear me okay. So if, again, in the top right-hand corner, if you'll go ahead and just click on the little hand icon, that way it just lets me know that you can see my screen and that you can hear me. Looks like people are raising your hands. Great, that's awesome. Also in the top right-hand corner, as you have already seen, if you've been commenting where you live, that is where you can go in and type in any questions that you might have throughout the webinar itself. So with that, let's go ahead and let's just jump right into this. There's going to be a couple of different things that I want to show you and bring light, and then we'll just dive right into that demonstration. And then following after that, we're going to go ahead and talk about the um, all the questions that are coming in. Sorry. And so what we're going to do right now is the very first thing. When you're first getting started, you're going to see a welcome screen. And that welcome screen, it'll just prompt you to get started by creating what we call a box. And so here in the top left-hand corner, you're going to see an icon that just says boxes. And once you click on that, you'll just see a little window open up and you can add a box. And you can have as many boxes as you want. You can name them whatever you want. Um, so for me personally, I have one that is called expenses, and that's what I actually come in and I take all of my receipts that I have for FileCenter when I go out on the road. I will scan all of those receipts in, and this is where I would be putting those. I also have one on my home computer that is for all of my my personal expenses, things that I want to keep a record of. Maybe it's home improvements or it's something to do with my car or something to that effect. And so this is just where that you can come in and create a box and you can keep them separated from each other. Okay, so you can have your business and you can have personal if you wanted. Now, if you're a bookkeeper, what's even more powerful is that when you're here inside of this box, you can come in, and if you are a QuickBooks Desktop or a QuickBooks Online or a Xero customer, which I know if you're down in Australia and New Zealand, Xero is massive. It's way bigger than QuickBooks, and so that might be the solution that you're using. And so because we have integration though with those three programs, you can actually come in and you can create a box for each one of your customers and then just tie that to their company file so that when you're inside of that box and you're scanning, you can just drop everything directly into that particular box for that customer if you're doing that. Okay, so in this case, we're going to come in. I'm going to go ahead and just name a box, and so we're just going to call this San Diego trip just for today. Um, and then all we have to do is come in and click OK. And what that's going to do for us, once we do have that selected, you'll see that it'll come in and it'll bring a new tab up here along the top. And then this window will open up, and this is our integration window. And this is just prompting you to select whether or not you have an integration that you want to connect to this box. If you don't, if maybe you're using this for your home and you don't use QuickBooks, you don't use Xero, you don't need a third-party integration, so you just leave it as the default of none, and you're all set and ready to go. If you're using QuickBooks Online, the way that you're going to do that or desktop is you'll just select one of those items and then you're going to click on Connect to QuickBooks. And then once you're done doing that, it's going to launch a screen and it'll just bring right up into our QuickBooks login on the App Store. And so here you can see that the login is here for my Intuit account. Okay, just make sure we got the right one. And then we're just going to come in and click on Sign In. And then if you do have more than one account, whether it be Xero or QuickBooks, it's going to allow you to select which company that you want to connect that box with. So I'm going to click on Trend Consulting. Just go ahead and click on Next. And that will just authenticate our integration with the QuickBooks account. And at that point, you're all set and ready to go. Okay, and so at this point, you're now ready. And what that does for you, if you are a QuickBooks user, is we have different lists. So you have a payee or a vendor, and then you've got your payment types or payment accounts and payment methods. And then you have categories that you might categorize the different expenses. And all of those things that you have, what that does is as soon as you sign into one of those integrated solutions, it's going to come in and it's going to prompt you, or it will download every single item for your payees, your categories, your payment methods, and payment accounts, so that you don't have to enter in every single one of those items. Okay, and so hopefully that will just speed the process up for you. Okay. Now you can see, for instance, that I actually have 100 in here for the payees, and it just allows me to come in and do everything that I need to do from there. Okay, so hopefully that it helps you there understand what that does. Okay, now again, part of that integration, what that's going to do for you is when you are booking a receipt, you're going to be able to then tie that receipt or that expense to your QuickBooks or Xero accounts, and it will then put it right into your expense log, and it'll do that all automatically. And we're going to cover that here in the webinar. Okay. Now, if you're not using an integration with a QuickBooks or a Xero, and you're just doing everything at home, one of the things that I'm going to do for you is, if you're purchasing the FileCenter Receipts program from us, then I will provide you with a list of all these different default categories and payees that you might use, and that way you can come in, copy and paste, and then just drop them right into the FileCenter Receipts program. Okay, so just let me know, and then I'll get those sent over to you when that time comes. So we've got this integration now set up with our San Diego trip, and so you can come in, and there's four different methods of being able to get a receipt into the receipts module. The first one is going to be that I'm going to talk about is going to be by scanning. So this is where the scanner is not going to be completely run here, but when we come in and we click on the scan icon up here above, what that's going to do is it's just going to open up our little scanner dialog box, and you'll be able to do any of the different settings that you would like, whether it be that you want to do black and white or a grayscale, or you want to auto crop the page, or whatever you might want to do. You can come in here, and at this point you can then click start scan, and what that's going to do is it's going to bring that document right into our inbox, so that way you can actually start building up a list of all of the different receipts that you're processing. Okay, so let me kind of bring something kind of in full circle here as well. So what you have is you have a box, and then you have an inbox. And I know that sometimes that might be a little bit confusing, but the box itself is like your shoebox. That's your personal or your business box that you're keeping all those receipts in. The inbox is something that is kind of a holding area for all of your different receipts. And for me, what I kind of look at is the workflow that I typically follow is that I come in and I will scan in all of my receipts, and then I will add them into the receipts shoebox or the box itself. Okay. And so then that way I can just scan everything in. I don't have to stop, enter, and scan again, enter, and things like that. I don't have to do that over and over again. I could just scan, get all of my documents into the inbox first, and then I can put it into the receipts module. Okay, and so if you have questions on that, make sure put that into the Q&A area so that we can cover that. So that's one way, is scanning. And if you're just joining us, I apologize. I forgot that I was going to be traveling this week, and I'm actually in San Diego, and I don't have my scanner on hand, and so I just can't scan those receipts for us at this current moment. But so scanning is the first way. The second way that you can get your receipts in is if you've been using FileCenter for some time, and you've probably been going in and scanning in your receipts, and you've been storing that into the FileCenter software. And so the way that you can actually go in now is you can come right into our Manage tab, And then we can actually come in, we'll see our in this example, I've got a personal folder. And when I come in and I click on the file, you'll see that here is my receipt. Okay. And so if I want to add this over into the receipts tab, then I can come in here up along the top, along with all of our other icons. As you can come in, you'll see the receipts, and we can just come in, we'll click right there on receipt, and it's going to take that receipt and it's going to allow me to now enter in all of my information. If I have more than one box, then I'll be able to come up here to the receipt box section and actually switch between different boxes, whether it be my QuickBooks Online or my San Diego trip or my expenses, and I can select which one that I want that receipt to go to. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and keep that there. Now I can come in and see my payee, so I can come in and I can see all of the different vendors that I might have, and I can just come in quickly and select one of those. I can have my date, I have my payment account. This is maybe a credit card, uh, like maybe a Discover or a Visa or a MasterCard or an Amex, and you can even put the last four digits of the code in or the number on there as well, so that you can differentiate between the two if you have more than one of that type of card. So, but that's what the payment account would be. And then you can see the payment method. This is where you'd see whether it's cash, check, credit card, debit card, whatever that might be. And then you can put memos, a reference number. You can even put the total amount in here as well. And then you got categories. And so in this case, this is Lowe's Home Improvement Store. So we'll just select Home Improvement. And that's the way that we can start to go in and categorize this particular receipt. Now, one of the common questions that I receive is, hey, why isn't this just auto-populating for me? And again, as I mentioned before, the way that our system is set up right now is we are really just in the beginning stages of the software itself. And one of the things that we were finding is that some of the OCR solutions that were out there that were auto-populating, we got our hands on Neat, we got our hands on Expensify, and we got our hands on Receipt Bank and some of the other different solutions that are out there. And what we were finding is that a lot of the times those fields that were getting auto-populated were not coming in correctly the majority of the time. And so we wanted to make sure that we're going to find something that is going to be the best fit for this. And so we're continuing to work on that. And so eventually we will have an auto populate area so that you can just come in, scan something in, and it will just read the document, the receipt, and then put the information over. You'll probably still have to go back in and verify it at some point just to make sure. Okay. Now, one area that we do handle there is on the document itself. If you take your mouse, here I can come into my amount. If I click on the amount field or a date field, I can come in and then highlight or draw a box around my total. Okay, so if I wanted to come in here and we'll just highlight around this $19.95, and I can just draw a little box around that. And what that'll do is it will come in and populate that in. Now, sometimes that can be really quick. So depending on the quality of your document or the receipt that gets scanned in, sometimes that'll be quick. Sometimes that'll be a little bit slow. Mine was just a little bit slow right there. There's a little bit of pixelation for me on my receipt. And so sometimes you'll find that you might be a little quicker at just going in and keying that in. Okay. But I wanted to make sure to address that because I know that that's been a common question that's been asked as we do this training. Now from here, you can also see that I can post this to QuickBooks Online because this particular receipt box is a QuickBooks Online account. And so I can come in, we'll just check the box there that I want to post to QuickBooks. And then I also want to include the receipt as an attachment to that expense account. Okay, and so now I can come in and we'll just click OK. That'll process our receipt for us, and then it's going to upload it. And then when we do that, it's going to leave a copy inside of FileCenter, but then it'll also take a copy of that and put that right into our receipts. And so you can actually see now I have a receipt list that's going to start to build here. Okay. And so if I come in and I double click on that receipt, you'll see all of our information. If you wanted to then do anything here, you can go in and tweak some things there. Okay. Okay. So now that's number 2 method of being able to get a receipt into the receipt module. The third way is also going to be very simple, and that's the ability to come in and drag and drop a file into the inbox. So whether that be from an email, so if you use Outlook like I do, I get emails all the time that have a copy of my receipt, and so all I need to do is take that and just drag and drop my receipt right into the inbox, and it will populate there, and then allow me to book the receipt into the receipts. Okay, so that's method number 3. Method number 4 is going to be by app. Now, so if you're using QuickBooks or Xero, you're going to find that if you come to the QuickBooks or Xero app store, you can come right here to find the right apps for your business. And if you just type in here, just say receipts, you're going to find right here is the FileCenter Receipt utility. You can just come in here, you can click on that and download that, and it will work on your Android device. It will also work on your iPhone. Okay, and so you can just download the app, and then what that's going to do for you is it will allow you to then inside of your inbox, you can come over here. That when you snap that image with that app, it's going to upload to the system, and then it's going to download. You can actually come in and download from QuickBooks, and so you can actually see I've got a whole list of all of these different receipts that are available, and I can come in and just select which one I want. And you can select multiples if you wanted. And just like that, you can see now after you've taken a picture of that image, you can then come in and you'll have that here, and it's ready for you to now add into the receipts. And so I can go ahead and book that receipt. We'll just come into the payee. We'll just select some people here. Methods. You can see here is the dollar amount again, so we can just draw a box again right around that dollar amount. And so we've got that inputted, and then we got category. We can say food and beverage, and then we can go ahead and post that to QuickBooks or not, and then we can click OK. And then once that's all done, you'll see that now that receipt leaves the inbox and drops right over into the receipts list. Okay. Now, the other way is the way that I like to do this as well. So me personally, I don't use QuickBooks. But when I'm out on the road, if this may be you, I might be talking to the person that is just like me. But if you were to go to my office right now and look at my desk, you're probably going to start to see that there's a big pile of receipts. And most of the time it's right now because I am scanning in a lot of receipts. Okay. But prior to receipts coming out, one of the biggest things that I had a pain point with was creating an expense report. If that's you, here's where I want you to interact with me here. If you hate doing expense reports, I want you to click on that little hand icon up in the top right hand corner and let me know that you hate to do expense reports, that the receipts just pile up on your desk or in your wallet, and your wallet just ends up getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Okay. I see everybody starting to light up on that. So that's great. I'm not alone. That makes me feel a lot better. Maybe we should start a group. Okay. So here with the receipts though, I don't use QuickBooks, so I don't have access to that app. Now, one of the things that I do have access to, and I would probably venture to guess that the majority of you have access to this as well, and that is Microsoft OneDrive. Now, Microsoft OneDrive has an app, and I have that on my phone. In fact, we're going to turn on the webcam again here real quick so that you can come in and see this. Okay, so now you should be able to see. Here is my phone, and this is I've already signed into my OneDrive app. And it just makes it really simple. And I've got a folder here that's called Receipts. And so what I can do is when I'm inside of my Receipts folder, I can come in and easily come and snap a picture of my receipt. Now, before I do that, the way that I do that so that it integrates with my file center is that I come over here to the inbox, and you're going to see here that you can actually come in. I'm going to just clear the inbox out here real fast. And what that does is it allows me to create a new inbox where I can point to the location of where that receipt inbox is going to be stored for those temporary holding patterns for the receipts that I'm coming in and storing. So in my OneDrive, I can come in, I'm going to see that here's my receipts folder. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then that is now all set up. Now what this is doing for me is that now here I can come in and I can go ahead and easily scan in my receipts. Okay. And so we're going to just go ahead and take a quick picture. We'll snap a picture of one of the receipts that I just got today from when I was traveling here. All right, so here we go, snap. And all I have to do is now I just have to come in and just click on done and then just go ahead and save it. So we're just going to click on the little check box or the check mark up there at the top. And what that does for me is now we're going to come in and I'm going to even take a picture one more of the next one, which is my Delta receipt for my baggage. And we'll just go ahead and upload that. So that's going in and uploading. And what you're going to see here is now, because of my inbox is now tied to that OneDrive account, it is going to allow me to then see the receipt right here. And so what was really super awesome about this, and I get really excited because this just means I get to throw away my receipts before I even get back home. Because I can come in, snap a picture of my receipt right here, and before I even get back to my computer in Utah, I can see that when I get back, my receipts are here. So you can see my screen. These are my receipts that we just scanned in or we took a picture of, and immediately it's there. So now I can come into the receipt itself, click on Book Receipt. I can put in who the payee is. I don't even see Delta here, so let's go ahead and I'll show you that you can add a payee right here on the fly just by clicking here on the plus sign. And now I can just put in Delta Airlines. Okay, if I have more than one that I want to create at a time, I can do that just by clicking here on Add Multiple Items. But we'll just click on one for or add one for right this second. So we've added our payee. Here's my payment accounts. We'll put in the type of account it was, that it was a credit card, that this is for the San Diego Tax and Estate Planning Conference. Okay, so I have that as my memo. I can put in that it was $70, and then I can put in for the travel expenses that it is travel. Okay, and so just like that, I'm all set and ready to go, and I can go ahead and click OK. And then we're just going to do this for that last one here where we'll book that receipt as well. And we'll just go ahead and we'll just quickly add some of these different things here. That was also credit card. This was also for the tax and estate planning. And I can go back and edit that later. We see that that was $7.16. Oop, not 7,000. In fact, let's go in and let's just highlight this again here. $7.16. It adds that for me. Category, we'll say food and beverage, and then we'll just go ahead and add that. And so just like that, all of my receipts that I've gotten so far today are now added right here into the receipts module. okay, into the receipt software. And what this does for me now is that when I get back to Utah and I've got all of my receipts done, let me show you how quick and easy it is now to create your expense report. Okay, all you're going to do is you're going to come right up here to this reports icon. Once you click on that, it's going to open up a window. And this window is going to allow you to build out your report. So I can come in and call this expense report. And we'll just call that the tax and estate planning form. I'm going to just keep the date range as custom and, just basically for today. And then I'm going to come in. I can add payees if I wanted to. Okay, so I can come in and select all of the different payees that I want it to filter off of, but I don't need to do that because I know that the date range that I'm traveling is between today and Saturday. And so I could just mark the end date as Saturday, but then I can come in and say, build the report. And what that does is just like that, it spits out a report for me and it tells me what the date ranges are. If there's any kind of categories that I am filtering out, I can come in. Let's say, for instance, I wanted just to pull in all of my travel expenses. I can just click on travel, click OK. And then if I build that report, you can see that it filters everything down for me so that I only have the items that I want. Okay. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and clear those filters and rebuild that. The other area that you can do on this report is that you can click on edit columns. This is something that I love because one of the things that is not defaulted is it doesn't have a default for the payment account. And the reason why I like payment account is that when I get back, I don't remember which credit card I might have put that on. By habit, a lot of times I will pull out my debit card for my personal spending, and I will accidentally use that on one of the expenses. And so I need to know where that money is going to go back to when I get my expenses back. Okay, and so by selecting that payment account and clicking on Build Report, you'll see a new column will show up here for that payment account, so that way when I get the expenses back, my refund back from my boss, that it will show me which accounts that I need to go and add that money back to, okay, or pay off. And so that just makes it super easy. Now, you might be thinking, hey, well, Kevin, that's great. You've built this report, but I also have to go in and give them all of my receipts. So this is where that works as well. So we're going to come up here. We've generated our report. One thing that I am going to do is I'm going to click on Setup, and I'm going to make my report be where it's going to be landscape. So that with the columns, it's a little wider. And so I just want to make sure that that's going to fit everything. And then I'm going to come up here and click on this box where it says attach receipts on save. Then I'm just going to click save as. That's going to come in and prompt me to save it. And I'm going to come right to where my expense report folder is. And I can just name that expense report. And I can say tax and estate planning forum. Okay, and then I just click save. And just like that, my report is now built. And if I come back here to my manage window and come to the expense reports, here's that tax and estate planning form. And when we come in, we see the initial report right here at the top. And then you're going to see every single receipt that has to do with that particular expense report is going to be attached right here to our report. That's how simple expense reports has now become for you. Okay, so hopefully that really makes you guys excited. If that makes you excited, raise your hand there in the window in the top right hand corner. Awesome. I'm seeing everything light up. It's like Christmas. That's what I am. I'm like Santa Claus, right? I am bringing you guys some awesome stuff here. You can see why I get really excited about the different things that we come out with here at FileCenter. This is just continuing to get better. We've already made extreme improvements to the FileCenter Receipts software just in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to continue to get better. Okay. Now, with that, I think that that's pretty much all the different things that we can talk about here. So let's just hop right back over to receipts here. We talked about how you can come in and create a box, how you can have as many as you want. You can tie them to different integration pieces. Um, there is a question that I saw out of the corner of my eye, and it's one that's been asked every single webinar, is whether or not we have integration with Quicken. And right now, we do not have integration with Quicken. Ever since Quicken separated itself from Intuit, all of the integration pieces that Quicken had at one given point of time, uh, it stayed with Intuit. And we have been reaching out to Quicken to find out if they're planning to have anything so that we can tie into that. Currently, right now, we have not even heard back from them yet. So I can't give you any kind of news of a status saying, yes, it's coming or no, it's not, because they don't want to. They're just not responding yet at all. So unfortunately, right now, there's just no integration with Quicken. Okay, we do have a list of a few others like Sage products. We have the product You Need a Budget. There's some other solutions out there as well, like Mint, things like that. Okay, so there are some things that we're looking at to continue to build some integration pieces. So hopefully that helps you. Okay, so we talked about the different integration pieces. Now, in the case there that you don't want to actually come out and build a report, there is a receipts icon right here. That receipts icon will let you filter, and so eventually you're going to have thousands of receipts here in this little window. And if you want to just see certain date ranges, or you want to see everything by payee or category or whatever it may be, you can come in here and filter everything down, so that if you wanted to just see the category of food and beverage, I can just check that box and just see that here. And then you can even see that down in the bottom center area, you'll see a running total of what those receipts are. And then if you want to then go in and build that as a report, you can build those as reports. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. Okay, and then we talked about how you can scan the receipts in, how you can get them in by adding them from FileCenter in the document management under the Manage window. You also can add it through dragging and dropping into the inbox, or you can use an app like OneDrive or the QuickBooks or Xero apps. Okay, so those are some of the things that you're able to do. Okay, so now, one of the things that I want to kind of bring up with you as well is, if you if you're wanting to get started with the receipts program, you can come in right into the receipts and you can just start out with a trial. So you can immediately just go in right into a trial and you'll get 15 days of being able to play around with it. And then at that point, you can decide, hey, this is such an awesome program. I want to continue to use it. Now, what does that mean if you want to start using it on a regular basis? So inside of FileCenter, if you were to come in, so if I were to come into filecenterdms.com, and we were just to come down to the receipts program here, and if you were to come out and purchase the software right here and right now, what that looks like is that our software for the Receipts Pro, that's the one that has all the integration. That one, it's going to be at some point, it'll be $200, a one-time cost. We're selling this to people that do not use FileCenter at all. Okay. Right now, we have it on sale for $149.95. But if you're signing up for a trial, you'll actually get that cheaper. And so you can actually go in right in through a trial and purchase it at I believe it's $99.95. The receipt standard is basically everything that you saw today, except it just doesn't have the integration. So if you're just a home user and you don't need the integration, then the standard license is what you need. Now, however, because we want it to thank all of our customers, especially those that are just starting to use it. You're getting in there right now and playing around with it. You're here on the webinar. One of the things that we are doing, and I'm going to put this into the chat window right now, is that we actually have a link, so that if you click on that link, what that's going to do for you is it's going to allow you to get the FileCenter Receipts Pro for 60% off. So for a total of $79.95. That is a one-time cost. That is per person in your office or your home that needs to use that. If you are in your home and you are the only one that uses it, but you've got a laptop and you've got a desktop and you want to use it on both, we'll still permit you to do that, just like what we do with File Center. You don't need to buy two licenses of that. But if you're in an office like you have uh, multiple people that are doing the books for companies or anything like that, each person would pay $79.95. Again, that's a one time cost. You don't have to worry about paying that every single year. Okay. Each year after that, we do have a maintenance. The standard is going to be $20 per year, and then the pro is going to be $40 per year. And that'll continue to give you all the upgrades and updates to the software. When it comes to the integration and everything like that into it, they change things, and Zero changes things. And so, therefore, we've got to maintain that, and there's some additional cost to us there. Okay. Now, if you decide that you're going to purchase the software, one of the things that we're going to give to you as well is I will give you a list of the different categories that you can go in. Like if you're not using the integration, I will actually send out a list of all the different categories and payee types and things like that. Payment methods, you'll have that in there as well. But payment accounts, those are something that you're going to want to create. But everything else, I will give you a file so that you can actually just go in, copy, and paste, and I'll give you a link to a video that you can watch as a tutorial that will allow you to go in and just bring those right in so you don't have to type every single one. The other thing is that we also, if you saw before, we do have a receipts page in Facebook. This is an area that you can come in, you can get additional resources, you're going to get some tips here. The page itself is just the product page where everyone can see. But we are also going to we're going to invite you to come in to our FileCenter Receipts community in Facebook. This is where you can come in, I come, on a regular basis, usually 2 or 3 days a week, and I'm going to upload a video of showing how to create lists and how to get those into the system. If you have questions, you're going to be able to ask those questions in here, and I have this up on my computer screen at work all day. And I'm going in there and responding as quickly as I can. But then on top of that, you're going to find that the community itself hops in and is answering questions and saying, "Hey, this is what I do, how I'm using it," and so you're going to be able to get some of those feedback from each other that will help you continue to learn and how to use the receipts module. Okay, and so when you purchase the software, you'll get an invitation to be a part of that Facebook community group. Now, one thing that some people will ask is that I don't have a Facebook account, and so how do I get access to that? Currently, right now, we only have this right into Facebook because Facebook is free. They give us that forum to be able to do. However, I am in the process of building and developing a different area that people can join if you're not using Facebook. Our CEO at FileCenter, he told me the other day that he will die without ever having created a Facebook account. And so if that's you, that's okay. We will still get some information out to you. We'll send out some newsletter emails that will allow you to be able to see some of those different tips and things like that that are being shared here in the community. Also, every single month, we're starting to do a webinar series where the webinars will actually allow you to come in and see webinars on FileCenter. You'll see webinars on the FileCenter Receipts. If you're using FileCenter Automate or wanting to learn about what Automate does or what the FileCenter portal does, you're going to be able to see those. You'll get those invitations to join us on those webinars so that you can continue to get some more education there. And you'll be able to ask questions. And so each month there will be a webinar that will be specifically on receipts. You can join it, you'll know. And if you aren't able to attend, always, always, always register. Because what that does is if you register for the webinar, then even if you can't attend, I know that you are interested, and I will send you a replay link so that you can come in and watch that anytime. You can already see there's some of you that are on here that are liking the Facebook pages right now. Thank you. That's awesome. We want to make sure that we're giving you guys get that great tool and resource. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead. We're going to hop back over into the FileCenter software real quick, and start to ask or answer some questions. Um, so yeah, here's one. If you don't have Facebook, what happens there? Again, we're going to send out some monthly newsletters, so you'll have some access to that, and it will drive you out to different sites, pages that you'll be able to see some of those different tips if you don't use Facebook. Okay, so the if you're looking to purchase, a couple people said that they were missing where they should be clicking on. Um, Up in the top right-hand corner where you can type in your questions, there's like a question box and a chat or something like that. It's a little different for the presenter and organizers, but in there you'll see a chat window, and there'll be a link right there. And the link will say to get the special webinar pricing, go visit, and then it has the link. If you just click on that, it'll take you right out to that page, and then you'll be able to purchase the software right then and there. Okay, this is an offer that I want to give you all for attending the webinar, and it's good until the end of the month of October. So even if you want to get in there and start playing with it first, you can go ahead and do that. And then if you just save that link, if that's the way that you're going to go, then it'll drive you over. Otherwise, you're going to pay $20 more when the trial ends. It'll be $99.95 instead of the $79.95. Is it possible to extract all the line items in a receipt? It is not currently a possibility to extract every single line item. Now, in the case, let's kind of bring this up here. For instance, let's just say this Lowe's receipt, for instance. With this, there might be multiple things that I've purchased. Some items might be that I purchase for myself, and one that I'm expensing. Okay, so one of the things that you can do, and this is a great question, and I totally spaced to even bring it up. This is something that you can do is when you're inside of the system and you have selected a receipt and you double click on it, you'll see over here that you've got your one item. This has the full amount. Now you'll see here that there's a little link where it says add line. So if you wanted to come in and add a line item, you can come in and add a line item. And so you can kind of start categorizing each individual purchase if you wanted to. So if part of this particular receipt was that it was, let's say, $26, I can enter that. This one I can say that this is reimbursable, where the other one might not be. You'll see that the receipt total up here continues to grow as you're going along. And then you can put a different category in. So if I wanted to say this was a dinner expense, I can do that. And I can say dinner with Thomas. Okay. Thomas, if you want, I'm going to Hodad's after the webinar, and that's where I'm going to go eat. So, but here you can come in and you can see you can enter in every single one of these line items, and you can have as many of these as you would like. And the way that that displays inside of the FileCenter software is that you'll see here that, and it might be a little bit hard to tell on this screen right now, but this first line is white, and these next two, where it was one receipt, are now gray. And then it goes white, and then gray, white, gray, white, gray. And so if you have more than one line item in here, so even if we were to come into this one here, and we were to add a third line item, we'll just go in and do that real fast. You'll see that it keeps these three grouped together with that one payee. You'll see that each line item has its own amount, but you can see that it's grouped together with one color. And then the next receipt with its own individual line item will show up as another color. So that's, I hope that answers that question. on whether it's possible to extract on the line items in a receipt. Right now, so there's a question here with QuickBooks integration, can we include classes? Um, that's a really good question. I'm not really familiar with QuickBooks in general, but I don't believe right now that that is available. If that is something that you would like to do and you would like to be able to go in and add some classes to the receipts as well, if you'll send me a quick email, my email address is kevin@filecenterdms.com. You should all have that because you received the invitation from me. That was coming from my own personal email address, so at work. And so you can just go ahead and reply to that, let me know, and then let's connect and let's talk a little bit about it so that we can understand a little bit more of how you're using that. In fact, one of the other things is tracking of taxes. There's some people that are outside of the United States are more concerned with tracking of taxes, and so we would like to make that even better. As of right now, we've been doing that through a category. There's a tax category, but if you and then doing a separate line item for the taxes. But we would like to get some more feedback and looking at some different possible ways of being able to track the taxes, or in this case, if you're wanting to do something with classes or something like that, we could do that too. And we just need to understand a little bit better of what you're looking to really do. So great question. Okay, when I add a receipt, how do I get rid of the category box? The category box is a default category or a window. Um, this is, inside of QuickBooks and Xero, and these are different programs that require you to have a category. And so I think that we've got that in there and it's there to stay. I don't believe that we're ever planning to allow that to not be there. Most people are wanting to try and categorize what the type of expense that it is so that when they're running a report, that's something that they can see. If that is something that is going to, if you want to have a little bit more clarification or discussion on it, please, I welcome that. Again, one of the things that we're really good at is we want to understand how you guys want to use the program and then make sure that we are delivering a product that everybody wants and uses. Inside of the Facebook community group, in fact, we do polls in there. Right now, I think we've done one or two polls where we're fielding and seeing if some of the suggestions that are being asked are going to be widely used right away. If they are, then we hurry up and try and get those spit out as fast as we possibly can. If maybe only one or two people that are in the group say, yeah, I'd be interested in that, we might still put that on the list, but it might not be as high of a priority as something that we want to make sure that we're getting out. So hopefully that answers that. Can you copy a receipt to a FileCenter folder? Um, if you're wanting to put a receipt into a FileCenter folder, what I would the workflow that I would most likely do on that is I would store that receipt into FileCenter first, and then inside of that Manage tab, after I entered it in, so you can kind of see here, for instance, that before I had actually really started using um, the receipts module, because there was so much changing, I was storing everything here inside of FileCenter first. My workflow would most likely be that I would store that receipt here first in FileCenter and then come right up here and click on the Add Receipt icon and then add it to whatever box that I want to add it to. Okay, that's probably how I would do that, because once it is stored inside of the receipts, it goes into a kind of an enclosed database, and it's a little harder to get out. Okay, with the QuickBooks integration, will FileCenter Receipts pull vendor names and general ledger accounts? I don't believe right now that we're doing general ledger accounts, but it will pull your vendor names. That's typically your payee. Um, Tom, that's a really great question, and I know that you're down in Australia. So maybe we can just schedule a time too about the general ledger side of things, because I'd probably want to understand that and see how you're using general ledgers and everything like that, and then see how you're wanting to tie that. Intuit obviously provides a pretty extensive integration tool set for us. But initially, again, as I was talking about, this is a really young program for us on the receipt side. And so we're going to continue to add to that. And so if that's an area that would make a lot of sense, then let's talk about how we would do that, and how it's best used for everybody that's using QuickBooks. Okay, if so, the question here is that, or the statement really, is that they had already purchased FileCenter Receipts, and so they want to get the free list that I was talking about. If that's the case, you can just go ahead and, if in the chat window or the question window, if you just want to go ahead and put in your name, and your, well, you don't have to put your name because that'll already tie it to that. But if you want to just put your in the comment that you would like to have that free list, just go ahead and enter that in to that chat window or the question window. And then when I pull the report in the next couple of days, I will grab that and I will send it over to you. I'll have some time, obviously, here at the conference that I'm going to be at, and uh, as long as I have internet connection in the pavilion that we're going to be hosting that at, I should be able to do that while I'm sitting around. So perfect. Okay, well, we've all been here for about an hour already. So we're going to go ahead and just start wrapping up here. Again, I want to thank you for attending today's webinar. Again, it is recorded. I'm going to get that processed and produced. It'll probably go out first thing tomorrow morning. You're going to get two copies. There'll be two links, one for a webinar that was hosted and recorded yesterday, and one that was for right now, the webinar that you heard today. You're going to find that there's a little bit of differences. There's things that questions that come up, and or different ways that I had presented it, and it'll be a little bit different. So if you want to watch both of them, you can. I'll provide both of those links. Again, in the top right hand corner in the chat window, there's the link to not only like the Facebook page, but then also to click on the link to purchase with the special webinar pricing. Do that before the end of the month so that you can get locked in at that rate, so you don't have to pay a higher price. We don't want that to happen. Um, there is a question here on if there's any kind of notifications that will go out about future webinars. We are going to be doing a lot more webinars, and what we're going to do is everybody that's already on here, anybody that has registered for a webinar in the last couple of weeks, you are on the list right now, and so you'll actually get those notifications immediately as soon as they're available. We will have probably just one more webinar this month, and then November and December, we're going to be doing a webinar every single week that you'll be able to get a notification on. So that's a great question. Okay, well, again, thanks for everybody for attending. I hope that all those that were here got great value from the webinar, and that you were able to learn more about what Receipts does. And I am super, super jazzed about this. Again, this is something that is going to save me a ton of time when it comes to getting my receipts in, because I lose them all the time. Then I'm trying to go out and find them, and then I have to go in and generate a report off of it. But this is going to be so much easier. And instead of keying everything into Excel, I can produce a report very quickly. So I hope that you saw the value there, as well as being able to manage your receipts. The other aspect of this that you're going to find is that not only do you get to stop banging your head against the keyboard when you're trying to create reports like me, um, but if you're using a software solution like Neat or Expensify, in most cases you're paying every single month for that service. File Center, you pay a one-time cost, and if you desire to have the updates and upgrades, you can pay the maintenance and you can get those. If you don't have to pay the maintenance, but that'll give you the updates and upgrades. So hopefully you'll see that there too. Okay. Thanks so much for attending. I know that everyone from all around the world, from India and Australia, New Zealand, it looks like we even have some people here from Germany as well, and all across the United States. Thank you. Have a great evening or a great day if you're just starting out your day, and look for the webinar replay to come to you sometime tomorrow. All right, with that, we're going to sign off. We hope you have a great day, and we'll go from there. Thank you again.